are now sitting outside the fenced-in area that has been the home to this unique and extraordinarily innovative method of helping folks experiencing homelessness have a place to put their personal effects, especially if they go to work, if they want to go to dinner, if they need to go to a doctor's appointment, things that they just don't maybe want to keep in their camp or in their tent or under the overpass where they're staying. And Transitional Storage was started by an innovative woman under the auspices of St. John's Center, Glinda Adkins. And she's with me in the car, and the reason we're in the car is because we're going to leave this area and we're going to go over to the place where it's going to be. But just for the sake of conversation, Glinda.
Hey, everybody.
How are you?
I'm wonderful.
Tell me a little bit about Transitional Storage, just so folks who have never heard about it, and I can't believe there are any, would be able to tell them what it's for and why it's here.
Yeah, we started this program back in January, and the importance of it is exactly as you said, for our homeless people to go to job interviews, to go to the doctor, to go to church, to go to a friend's house, to go anywhere without carrying everything they own on their back. People have issues with their back, carrying that heavy of stuff. And this has just been a true blessing to so many people. I knew from the very moment that I was asked to be on board with this that it was going to be something that I would follow through with from start to finish.
And Marilyn McClendon says, and her work there got her a new fur baby. We'll get to that in just a minute, Marilyn.
Yeah, no doubt about that.
Glinda, it's interesting because just based upon what I know about you, and we've known each other for several years now, you give everything to everything that you do. And you had just gotten a job at UPS making a pretty damn good salary.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that you didn't make a good salary here, but I'm saying that the world of nonprofit is a lot different than the world of for-profit.
Yeah, that's very true.
But you came back when they asked you to start up this transitional storage, and I'd like you to tell me why.
Well, the reason that I actually agreed to leave UPS, leave that salary, and come here was this is one of the most important projects that the Metro Council and the city government allowed us to start. I'm not saying that the other places were not as important, but for me personally, I witnessed what it was like for them to carry their stuff on their back, and I witnessed watching someone get thrown out of McDonald's, and I witnessed somebody that got a check and just wanted to go have a drink at a bar, but he couldn't. He had a backpack, and they made him put that behind the bar. But if a woman was carrying a big bag, they didn't make her put that behind the bar.
Right.
So it was just a form of discrimination, and I wanted to be a part of putting this program together to allow freedom, to allow self-expression, to allow people to do things they've not been able to do. And going to the doctor and going to a job is just a tremendous help. In fact, this week, thanks to Linda Madley and her help, she's one of my volunteers who I love dearly.
Who just sent a message that said, love you, my besties. We love you too, Linda.
We have 3 people that actually got employment this week. So they're going through their drug tests and the backgrounds. So another situation where they did not have to carry everything on their back. They could go down there like you and I and apply for the positions.
Okay, so tell me, just give me the components, give me the mechanics of how transitional storage works. Right now we're at the corner across from Dosker Manor of Liberty and Preston. So tell me what happens when people would come to the St. John's Center for Homeless Men Transitional Storage.
Well, we open the gates, of course, when we're open, and the first thing they do is come to the check-in stand.
Which is inside that lovely little trailer that somebody loaned you for the effort.
Yes, thank you.
Or outside, actually.
Yeah.
You guys set up outside.
The Fishers,
yes.
The Fishers have definitely been generous with their donation. But we had them come in, and we keep up with their bin number or their locker number, what time they came in, and are they putting things in and out. So with the timing, we want to make sure if we are actually open at the most convenient times for the people that were using our storage. And then also on the in and out, how often does someone come? Now, they can come anytime during the day that they want, but we're just wanting to keep up with that, like to make sure that what we had, we were offering the very best.
For those who don't know, this is an interesting combination of pieces of physical equipment. There are things that look like recycling cans, like garbage cans, but they have locks on them, and that's where you put people's possessions. And then those are rolled into a corrugated railroad container,
right,
and locked down. So it's a double locking system to protect people's things.
Right.
What kind of stuff do people like to put in their bins?
Most of the things that they put in are clothing, clean or dirty, hygiene, any type of medical information that they have, any type of banking information, social security numbers, things like that. So in case their wallet gets stolen, which we had a gentleman this morning that this had happened to, and we just steered him in the right direction on where he needed to go to have everything replaced. Being from a different state and coming to ours, it's often you don't know exactly what to do or where to go and what to get.
And you guys have been one of the literally first points of entry for individuals coming into our city who have experienced homelessness.
Right.
And that's been a real challenge because people don't know where to go, and oftentimes people will go, well, go over to that storage place because there's some really nice people there. You guys do social work, even though you're not social workers necessarily.
Yeah.
You do social work in that you have been helping people to get acclimated and to get services through St. John that they would otherwise have had to have really fought to get. And here's just, I'm pulled up a little bit. These are the storage containers. And that's a lot of containers for people experiencing homelessness. That's a really amazing feat when you started out with one, and I remember the day the first one was delivered in that cold, snowing
Freezing,
day.
Yes.
How many bins have you actually been able to accumulate to accommodate how many people's things?
We currently have right at 75. We have two 40-foot containers that the bins stay in. Of course, everything's numerical to make it easy to get them and bring them out to the client. In the shorter containers, we have 4 20-foot containers, and in those are all of our lockers. We were blessed when we opened this project to have a donated amount from TARC, and that started our adventure with the lockers.
That's amazing.
We did have a grant through Kentucky Colonels where we were able to buy some lockers and also some locks for them. So that has been a blessing.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And the social work aspect of it, Glinda, people come in, you're kind of a mom figure to many of us, even though you're younger than me. You're still a mom figure to me.
I get called that quite a bit.
Well, you are. You're very motherly and very caring and very warm, and it gives people a good feeling. And, you've had everybody come in here from a man who had several children and a wife staying someplace else who was sleeping in the low barrier shelter, and he had a full-time job and he still couldn't make ends meet.
Right.
A young woman who was pregnant with a baby on her hip, another guy who had come in who was having issues because his family wouldn't let him stay at the house with them because he had mental illness, and just story after story after story of amazing people, and you would direct them to where they needed to go. And that's pretty incredible, considering the fact that you guys were set up to simply be a place for people to store their stuff.
Yeah, it takes a full day of work to get through it because there are so many, and each story often is different, sometimes the same. But you've got to know the community that you're working with and what options you have for the folks coming in. We had a gentleman yesterday that decided to take his clothing off and use the potty outside our gate.
Where there was no potty.
Where there was no potty.
Yeah.
I couldn't let him into the trailer because we didn't have clients in the trailer since we're actually just renting the trailer.
Right.
And then, of course, the police came and they didn't know what to do with him. And when I called the police for the very beginning, I told them that it was a mental situation. There wasn't any aggression, nothing like that. He didn't threaten us.
Right.
He really didn't speak to us,
Right.
other than I needed to get him away from my front door.
Right.
So we had the police come, and one of the officers said, well, we could have taken him to the living room, but that's not open anymore.
Which is not true, and we know that.
Right, which is
still
not
open
true.
for 8 more days.
Yep, 8 days we've got. And that is really the only place that I could have taken him to. I could have had him seen, tried to get a plan of attack for the following day. And it's only there for 23 hours, or he can only stay 23 hours, but those are the most important 23 hours to try to get him glued back into whatever his normalcy is.
Right, and then the concept is they would be able to leave for 10 minutes and come back in, basically,
Right.
and start all over again, and the living room would give them resources and send them to where they needed to go, whether it was university or Central State or to the Coalition for the Homeless or whatever. And so that's a huge loss to the city.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate for all of us that is being lost, and that's one of the reasons that you, I think, have been successful, is because you've had cooperative partners or community partners to accomplish so many things that, alone you all would not have been able to necessarily accomplish.
Yeah, they kid me at St. John about talking about community partners and how great of a community partner I am. And
You are.
I don't mind to tell the city that I am a good community partner.
That's right.
And we are willing to help in any way we can. With the support of St. John's Center for Homeless Men, we have had a wonderful 6 months run at this. And we're going to pass the baton.
Who are you passing it to?
We are passing the baton to Salvation Army.
Okay.
I'm excited. Johanna and her girls and guys are excited to have the program over there. We'll actually be moving all of the shipping containers on Friday, and then we will open for business, or they will open for business on Monday morning, 8 o'clock.
Okay. Are you saying you or they? Are you continuing with this job?
Well, I'm not. I have other opportunities, but the one thing is I don't think you could take this 6 months out of my life and ever it'd be different. I mean, there have been so many wonderful, wonderful stories. I switch hats daily. I figure out what I need to do to get the people to the right places.
Right.
And we have actually picked them up and put them in the car and taken where they need to go. So, and we have had a wonderful volunteer staff. We have Linda Manley, who's been here forever with me. She does all my paperwork. We had Jim and M.A. and Annie and Bill and Lucinda and Eddie, Mitch and Sarah, A.B., Rodney and Dina. They all have been here to help.
In the outreach team.
In the outreach team, yes. St. John has an outreach team, and it's led by Tiny Markwell.
Who's watching us from Florida, by the way.
Hey, Tiny.
Hate you.
Love you.
Hate you. I
love
see the
you.
sand between your toes.
And then on her team, she has Jamie Bush and Carrie Dorton and Jeff Gill, and then Rayshawn Howlett, I think is his last name. He's just part-time, so I don't see him a lot. But they actually, if I can't do it, if I can't leave my premises, then I call the outreach team, and they are able to move people from place to place.
Right.
You need a driver's license. Well, I can't get in the car and take you there, but I can call the outreach team, and they have been very, very effective in our city. And there's been a lot of lives saved because of that.
There have been a lot of lives saved, and one particular incident that I'm thinking of is the day of the shooting at the Low Barrier Shelter, and
Yeah.
Tiny and Jeff's role in that whole thing.
That was a really tough day, for all of us, because I couldn't leave the storage area because I had customers there. But then at the same time, I had to lock us in, and I couldn't let them leave either, because we didn't know where the shooter was. We didn't know if they were coming our way, or, so I had to keep them safe. And the hardest part was watching Tiny come back from that incident covered in the gentleman's blood. And
Who later died.
yeah, he later passed, and it's hard for me to talk about still.
I know
It's
it.
very sensitive.
And Jeff was right by her side.
Absolutely. He didn't move or flinch when somebody said you need to move. He was not leaving Tiny's side.
Yeah.
And we're lucky that we have people that caring. And we're also lucky that in addition to Tiny being the outreach superior, she is also a registered nurse, which has been truly helpful in our community as well.
Right. And you guys both are part of the Forgotten Louisville. Tiny founded it, 14, 15 years ago?
Right.
And has recruited a lot of her friends to be a part of that outreach, which goes on 24/7 all around the city, providing services to individuals experiencing homelessness and substance use disorder, mental illness, and the referral responsibilities have been tremendous. And we have all found, referrals within each other. You guys have sent folks to me that I've been able to help from Bridgehaven, and I've sent folks to you who have, experienced homelessness, and you've been able to help them. So I know, dry your tears because you've got a little bit more time here, but I love the fact that you are so passionate about your work, Glinda, and you always have been. And so to make you smile, Marilyn McClendon made a reference at the beginning of the broadcast about the fact that you got your own fur baby out of this. Tell the story of Tiny Little Link.
Well, at one point we had some of our bins inside the First Link supermarket, and we were going in. Jeff was with me actually that day to go in to find a bin. We were looking for something, and we weren't able to find it, but I kept hearing this little kitten meowing. And I said, Jeff, we've got to find this cat. I don't know where it's at. And we kept trying to follow it, and he said, I think it's over here. So we went over in a little corner, and sure enough, behind a wall, where Jeff was the only one thin enough to go through, we found little Link. She was just a sweet little thing. We couldn't find any family, her mother or father or other kittens. We couldn't find anything in the building. So Marilyn McClendon from My Dog Eats First stopped by the trailer, picked up a little Link, and had not only made sure that she got her shots and she's been spayed, that she also made sure she has all of her kitty stuff as far as eating properly and gaining weight and all that type of stuff. So what used to be called Link, we now call her Scarlet Rose.
I love that.
Now, I got a call from my mother today that said if Scarlet Rose doesn't sleep in my room, we may not have a kitty. So she's just a little active kitty. She's just beautiful. She's made herself welcome, and hopefully we'll just continue to have fun with her.
Well, I can tell you that the thrill of my life this week was when I was able to come down and visit you the day that Marilyn brought Scarlet back after her spay, and she wrapped herself around the back of my head like a kitten necklace.
Oh my gosh.
She was so cute and so cuddly. So that will be your wonderful memory of this incredible 6 months that you've had at Transitional Storage. Now, what I'm going to do is Glinda and I are going to run on over to Salvation Army, because that's where the new location is going to be, and Beth Yeager actually is going to join us on camera, and we're going to call her and let her know we're on our way over there. Brenda Ford says hi.
Hey, Brenda.
Afternoon, Tara and Glinda. And Marilyn says thanks to KHS for accepting her as a foster. Yes.
Absolutely.
Susan Sanchez says thanks for all you do, Glinda. Many blessings in your new ventures.
Oh, thank you so much.
Jamie Bush, Donna Schuster down at Youth Build, Tiny's watching, Sarah Byerly, Arthur Miller. I'm going to drive, so I won't be able to read those, but I'm just going to show you guys. We're driving underneath the expressway at the Low Barrier Shelter down here, which is on the back side of where we just were. And the Low Barrier Shelter has been a constant source of success and irritation all at the same time for the people who are part of the outreach community. Explain to folks what a low barrier shelter means.
The low barrier shelter is set up to where if someone's drinking or if someone's doing drugs, that they can still come in and get a good night's sleep. I think Wayside experienced a little
growing pains.
Growing pains. That's exactly what I wanted to say. And in fact, had to make different rules for this to work as well as it needed to. thankfully they've put a lot of good rules in place, and people have been able to follow those rules, and the ones that haven't currently are sleeping elsewhere. So it's in a much better position than it had been when it first opened. But we all learn, and one thing that I know my boss, Mary Lou Noonan, says is everything's flexible. So
Yeah.
you have to be very flexible in the homeless community because things can change very quickly.
Well, and you said to me earlier, you said to me when I first came down to do the first day that the first container was installed here in the winter, that you'd never had a boss who had stood out with you in the rain, sleet, snow, and hail like Maria Price did.
Right. And she came out, and I was like, is everything okay? I thought something was wrong. And she said, no, I just want to be here to support you.
Isn't that nice?
And that is probably the nicest thing I've ever had a boss do. Come out and stand in the freezing cold with me as I'm getting shipping containers moved.
Well, and I don't even work for her, and she helped me the other day with something that needed to get done, and was very helpful in helping a veteran get placed here where we're going, as a matter of fact, to Salvation Army, when there were obstacles in the way of doing that. So the person we're going to be meeting here and talking to, Beth Yeager and Maria, put a lot of effort in the other day, and I just want to express my gratitude to them for that.
Absolutely. Both Mary Luke and Maria, I can't thank them enough for their support and their endless dedication to the project. They had the same drive as I did when we first started talking about it, and I think we all felt like we had completed a really good thing for the city, you know?
Yeah, and they're both with St. John's Center, so that should be mentioned, St. John's Center for Homeless Men. Yeah,
and all the staff there, I mean, everybody kind of went through the different times, and, you know, one week we'd be up and we'd be ready to move, and then something would happen and we would have to start all over. So we've had a bumpy ride. Thanks also to Eric Friedlander and Tamika Laird.
Oh, yeah.
They have been tremendous support. In fact, Eric stopped by the Transitional Storage the other day just to give a positive, you know, spin, and him recognizing exactly where we went from the very first day to the very last day. So
yeah,
tomorrow we'll be open there at Transitional Storage from 11 to 5. Hopefully everyone will get in. We've been giving them the new times that Salvation Army will be open. The blessing to Salvation Army taking over this project is they have more staffing, they have more hours that they can use, and it will be more hours that the homeless community will be able to actually get into their lockers or bring stuff over if they've acquired it during the day. They're also going to have an evening shift Monday through Friday, which we had realized there was a need for as well. And they will be able to, if you work a 9 to 5, you'll be able to come over and get into your storage, put your dirty clothes up, or, you know, whatever it is you have in your storage. So I could not be more thrilled about that. It's just going to be the next extension on what the transitional storage would be.
Yeah.
And I talked to their maintenance gentleman this evening because we kind of had to coordinate our efforts on moving our shipping containers. And I can honestly say it was such a pleasure to talk to Tony and listen to his enthusiasm about the project coming over. And I know that they're thrilled to have it, and I'm thrilled to send it. I'll always be transitional storage, so they can't take that away from me, but I love my peeps. I love what I do, and there'll just be another project waiting on me. I'm not sure where that's going to be at yet, but there's some opportunities coming up, and we're certainly going to take advantage of it.
Strange. Beth Yeager of Salvation Army, Glinda Adkins of Transitional Storage. We are at the site of Salvation Army on Breckenridge, which is great. And it's going to give us a chance to kind of show off where the Transitional Storage is moving to. And then, Beth, if you've got just a minute to kind of tour us through, I'd love people to be able to see just a little bit of Salvation Army from where you helped us get the vet and his wife accommodated the other night, which was a great gift to all of us who were very worried about them. So let's go see where the storage is going to be.
All right.
I'm following right behind you. You can talk all the way.
Well, this is our main entrance here for shelter. And when the clients are done eating, they'll come back and go into shelter through this door.
Excellent.
But
can go ahead and walk up there with
Okay.
her so we can.
So this space right here,
Uh-huh.
from here back to there,
Uh-huh.
is going to be where the three large containers are going to be.
Yeah.
And then over against the fence over there is where the smaller containers are going to be. And people will be able to, we'll have tables set up under here during our hours of operation, and people will be able to have shelter to look through their stuff, etc. there underneath the smoking shed.
That's convenient.
So yes, so that way that if it's raining or whatever, stuff won't get wet, etc. And it during the hours of operation in the mornings, from 8 to 3:30, there's very few clients that would just be coming in and out of the shelter. So it will only be those people accessing their belongings and their treasures who would be dealing with them there
Right,
underneath
right.
the smoking shed.
So at this point, anyone who is experiencing homelessness has access to transitional storage, and they will be able to come and go and use their things. Is that going to be the case here since it's inside the fence?
Yes.
Will people still
we
be
will
able to come in?
We'll be open Sunday through Monday through Sunday, 7 days a week from 8 to 3:30. And then Monday through Friday, we will have evening hours as well.
That sounds good.
So,
That's a tremendous, I mean,
right. So
that's
if-
what all the guys and girls, that's all we've talked about for the last few days, because as I was telling Tara, some of our folks work full time.
Mhm.
Well, 5 o'clock when we close, they don't have any opportunity to
Yeah.
come get their things.
So it'll be 6
Yes.
to 8:30 in the evening,
Yeah.
Monday through Friday. Now on Saturdays and Sundays we won't have evening hours.
Right.
But
That's
we will
excellent.
have every single day. There will be an opportunity to access what you need from your storage container.
That's
Yeah.
fantastic. We appreciate that very
Isn't that
much.
great? I mean,
It is.
we could not partner up with anybody that has got the pulse of the community. You know, I mean, this is really, it's really where the next venture needs to come.
And we're very excited to be able to do this because we are aware of how difficult it is for our clients who come in at night and they have too much stuff and we can't store it,
Right,
and there's
right,
all sorts of issues with having too much stuff. They want to leave it during the day. So we've been dealing with this ourselves,
Right.
and have come up with ways to manage some of that. But this is just going to give so much more opportunity for everyone to be able to have the things they need, have the
Absolutely.
things they prize and value, but not have to carry them all day, everywhere with them,
Yeah.
or leave them somewhere where they could get stolen.
Right.
This is monitored 24/7. We will have cameras, we have security. There will be people who will be watching over people's precious valuables.
Right.
Will
all
they
the
have
time.
will they have fobs to get in, or how's that going to work
No,
with the
they'll-
security?
The gate will probably be opened. I mean, it will be accessible during
Gotcha.
those hours.
Gotcha.
And people will be able to come in and do this. They'll still need to ask to get in the building or
Right,
whatever, but
right.
they'll be able to come in.
Yeah, I was going to say the
Right.
security is still, the doors are still
Right,
locked down
right.
here and here, so they're not going to have access into Salvation Army.
No.
You know what I'd like you to share with me for just a minute? Glinda knows about this too. We were talking about our friends Tommy and Sharon, the vet and his
Yes.
wife who came in the other night from the eviction situation. Talk to us a little bit about the Veterans Program, because Glinda has a very close connection to veterans as well. Tell us about Corey.
My son Corey was in the Marines.
Mm-hmm.
He was stationed at Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, and he was killed in a single car accident
I'm
January 31st, 2008. So it's my way of giving back to him. It's my way of honoring him.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, if someone says, are you a little more partial to your veterans? The answer would be yes. I don't mean to be. I don't mean to single anyone out, but I am.
Well, we have a veterans program that we've been running for a number of years here at the Salvation Army. We originally started with 28 single male veterans, but over the last 2 years we've expanded, and now we have 12 spaces for either single female veterans or veterans with dependents. So that might be a veteran with children, or a veteran with their spouse, or perhaps a veteran with an older parent who needs to be cared for. We have space, family apartment space available for 12 units. And that has been a wonderful expansion of our program. With our veterans program, what we really stress with our veterans is learning the skills to come back into life and leaving behind some of the survival skills that kept them alive out on the street, but that are not going to be beneficial for living in housing or getting a job. We work hard on life skills. We work on budgeting and financial empowerment. We work on employment skills. We do fun things like have art class.
We've got some art supplies for you.
Oh, wonderful.
Yes.
They go to equine therapy, horseback riding therapy once a month. And then we also do a class in nutrition and cooking.
Cool.
That's so much fun for them. I mean, they really enjoy that.
Right.
But we focus on the kind of cooking that you could do in an apartment with a crock pot or a microwave.
Right.
And with what you could purchase with your SNAP dollars.
Yep.
And
So-
there's a microwave and a crock pot in those rooms upstairs.
Yes, there are.
Which is fantastic.
Each apartment has its own kitchenette with a crock pot and a microwave and a full refrigerator, and each apartment has a full bath, and they also have access to a free laundry room, laundry facilities.
That's wonderful.
Well,
So-
and I'm curious about this, and of course, we brought 2 people down here who had been living on their porch for 10 days in the heat, and they had slept at the living room the night that they got out of that heat. 9 of their animals had been rehomed thanks to the rescues that jumped up. But it was easier to rehome the animals than it was to take care of the humans, which is something that's intrinsically wrong with our system. So what is the process a veteran goes through, Beth, to get into the VA program here at Salvation Army?
Well, it is the VA program at the Salvation Army.
Right.
So the Veterans Administration is the gatekeeper, and they are the ones who interview the veterans, determine their eligibility, and permit them to come into the program. They have outreach workers who sometimes go to the St. John's Center, sometimes they're here, sometimes they're at other shelters, who try to find the veterans who are in the system. Whenever a veteran comes to our shelter, one of the questions we ask is, are you a veteran? And if they are, we ask if they'd like to be referred to the Veterans Outreach Program. And then the Veterans Outreach people determine eligibility. And a lot of the eligibility is not something I'm terribly familiar with, but it has to do with when you served, how long you served, what your discharge status was,
Right. Yeah.
et cetera. And then there's various levels of eligibility. Once someone has been determined to be eligible, then they come into our program and we place them in either the veterans family area or the veterans single male area. And when they come in, they have their linens provided, they are given a locker, a wardrobe with a lock if they're in the dormitory, a wardrobe with a lock so that they can lock their stuff away. We make sure that they have clothing. If they've come straight off the street and don't have any clothing, we go out to Walmart and get some clothing. And we make sure they have all their hygiene items that they need to get started. And it's very much a process where we're taking veteran clients who've been referred to us by the Veterans Administration.
Right.
Usually, if someone has spoken with a veteran outreach worker and they've determined they're eligible, they just have to come in, meet with our case manager, pass a drug screen, of course, fill out some paperwork. We need to know things like what's your emergency contact number and things like that.
Right.
And then they're ready to go. So the time with us to get into the program after they've been okayed by the VA is usually about an hour and a half of meeting with the case manager.
That's fantastic.
So
we've got a lineup of folks who are waiting outside the gate. What is the process for individuals experiencing homelessness to get into Salvation Army every day if they're not veterans?
they need to call the Coalition of the Homeless single point of entry bed reservation line and make a reservation. And the Coalition of the Homeless sends us those people who've signed up, and then people can come at check-in to see if there's available space, because sometimes there may be a space available. If it's cold weather, probably there won't be, because that's when we fill up the most, is during the winter time. But people can come and see if there's space at the last minute to get in. But your best bet is to call the SPE, the bed reservation line, and get a reservation. Once you've gotten a reservation, you come and you eat dinner here, you check in after dinner, and then you're in for the night. You have your bed linens, you go get your shower, you have hygiene items, and the next morning you check out again, come have breakfast, but your bed is now reserved for you until you stop coming. So you only actually have to reserve your bed one time through the coalition, and then we assume you're coming back, unless you've told us otherwise. We assume you're coming back night after night.
Okay, let's distinguish between day beds and night beds, because you guys are a day shelter at St. John.
Yeah, we don't actually have bedding at St. John Center, but we also have the number to the coalition and the single point of entry for the men and women that come in there now with our outreach group to contact. In fact, at Transitional Storage, we give them a card with their name and their locker number or bin number, whatever they have. And on the back side is the homeless Coalition for the Homeless and their bed line.
So the difference is they can't come into Salvation Army and stay all day and all night. So at night they sleep here, and in the day they can go to places like St. John's. Now I understand that women and children are actually being brought to St. John to see the outreach teams.
Right, we made a little...
It's quite an adjustment.
Yeah, a little spot for them in the front where their office is at, and it's really working out quite well. There haven't been many problems other than if the outreach team is out in the community doing something and they miss that opportunity, but they usually lock it down pretty quickly if somebody has a need to be filled, and as far as contacting the outreach team to come back.
Well, and the gross reality of life is that shelters are not pleasant places to be for the most part. No. What is one of the biggest problems that you have to deal with as a staff member in a place like Salvation Army or like St. John's Center? And Beth, I'll let you go first. What's one of the biggest, most difficult things that you have to deal with?
I think it's people's difficulty problem solving.
Mm-hmm.
They tend to jump from 0 to 60 really fast in terms of getting angry.
Yes.
Rather than letting us work through a possible compromise.
Yeah.
Right.
Is that what you found too,
Yeah.
Glinda?
Yes.
Yeah, the de-escalation technique sometimes works and sometimes doesn't work,
Yeah.
but that's certainly what we put into play when that type of thing comes on. I know at St. John's Center we've done an addition to our building, which is beautiful. If you get by Clay and Muhammad Ali, take a peek at it. But we've been without air conditioning for part of the summer. We have that on now, and people are starting to come back. The other thing that I think that we experience is that we have too small a space.
Mm-hmm.
We always need more space. There's always way too many,
Mm-hmm.
but you want to bring everybody in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So,
and that's what we encounter too, is that we fill up, and then people are angry that they couldn't get a space, or sometimes people have difficulty interacting with each other.
Yes.
And we have a lot of people in a small space, and they don't.
It's very hot.
Yeah. And actually, they complain it's too cold in our dormitories. They complain our dormitories are too cold. But there's still a sense of sometimes difficulty getting along.
yeah.
And then sometimes people have a hard time following the rules. We don't have that many rules, but we're very, very adamant about not smoking in our building. It's an old building. If somebody accidentally dropped a lit cigarette, the possibility of it going up would be high. And, we have 250 people there at night.
That's huge.
We can't let people, so we have smoking times. Well, some people think they're privileged and should get to smoke at 3 o'clock in the morning. And so then when we find them, we have to throw them out.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, but I mean, basically our rules are that you can't have food up in the dorm, you can't smoke inside the building, you need to treat people with respect, and you can't be physically aggressive towards clients, staff,
Right.
etc. And if you can follow some of those basic rules, you'll be okay. You'll make it.
Oftentimes also they come in and they've been drinking or they've been using other drugs, and it does the body a disservice as far as how they protect themselves or act, and
Right.
it just makes the whole situation a little bit difficult.
Well, we know that people experiencing mental illness, substance use disorder, and homelessness all kind of fall into the
Yeah.
same
Yes.
mix, which is very, very challenging because any of the three of them by themselves is horrific.
Yes.
Let's just go real quick inside the door because I want to go ahead, Beth. You can walk
All
with
right.
Glinda and lead the way. I just want to kind of show the entry point here so that when folks walk in, we're not going to be able to go through the whole building today, but I just want to show people what it feels like to walk inside the doors of a shelter because we have not done that yet on Take It From Tara. We do a lot of outdoor stuff, but we're going to experience this for the first time.
All right, so when you come in here, let's presume you've come for the night to stay. So you've got some things with you, your luggage, a small portion of your life's holdings. You would come up to the table here, and there's a guard who stands here, and you would they would figure out which bed you're in because we have a bed list. And there's a red bucket, and you take all your things and you put it in the red bucket, and then that's closed and put back in our luggage room, and we can open that door in a moment so people can see the luggage room.
And I'm just looking at the
Right.
signs as you're
Right.
talking.
And see, these are some of the rules. We permit certain things to go upstairs. They can take their cell phones and their chargers and their small tablets. They can take their change of clothes and their hygiene products. They can take their cigarettes and their lighters upstairs because they're going to need them at smoke break. But they're not allowed to obviously bring drugs upstairs, food upstairs, weapons upstairs. We don't ask about what's in the bucket. We don't search what is placed in the bucket. And that is just left there, and in the morning when you leave, you get your stuff back. If I don't see it, I don't have to worry about it. And that's the way we deal with people having the need. I understand the need to protect yourself on the street. We don't want to take away your protection, just don't let me see it.
Okay, so do not leave any belongings in the dorm is a very important part of why transitional storage exists, because if you leave anything in the dorm, it's going to be thrown away because other people have to be in there too.
Exactly.
And that means anything left
Right.
in the dorm. So that's going to be the advantage of having transitional storage,
Right,
so that
right.
you guys are going to be able to help protect people's belongings
Exactly.
that they can't bring into the dorms.
That's probably one of the hardest things for my staff and the security guards to do is we take the stuff out and we keep it until we are overwhelmed and can't keep it anymore, and then we have to choose to throw it out. We've been hoping somebody would come back and get it,
Right.
because we
Yes.
know that it belongs to people. We know it's important to people, but we are not a storage facility in our luggage room or in our dormitory, and we can't do that. Now with the storage facility, we will have long-term storage, and that's
Right.
going to really help people a
That's,
lot.
that's one of the rules about everyone must be checked out of the shelter by 6:30 a.m.
Yes.
And that's a hard thing for people in Louisville, and I'm talking about this for the benefit of people who really know nothing about what it's like to experience homelessness. So you can have a place to sleep, but then during the day you have to figure out where you're going to go. And if you choose not to go someplace like St. John's Center for Homeless Men or UP for Women and Children, which is the only
Right.
women's day shelter, which we appreciate so much, in the basement of Christ Church Cathedral, what are some of the other options for going places to keep yourself occupied if you're not working?
Some folks go to the library, do reading or research on things, so maybe legal issues. They can go down to legal aid if they have something that they're trying to get resolved.
They might have appointments at Social Security,
Right.
or hopefully they might have a job interview. We
That would
always
be
hope
wonderful.
So,
That'd be wonderful. So those are some of the things. Let's go ahead and walk through.
all right.
Isn't that my buddy Melinda there?
Yep.
We're buzzing. We're buzzing our way through, and we're live. Give a big wave. Thank you guys for helping us yesterday. Okay, so this is the client luggage room where we're going to be storing things. Ashley Candle and Sunny Howell. Christina Grimes, who is Sharon and Tommy's neighbor who helped them to get to safety. Mylantha Williams on our outreach team. Amanda Penny. Tina Mull, Lisa Taylor, Brenda Ford, and Bernie Backert, Eric Elam, Carrie Dorton, Alan Jenkins, Susan Sanchez, Marcia Brown, Lee Chotner. Marilyn McClendon has rejoined us, Amber Clark, Pam Blevins Alexander, Kishore Sapkota, Linda Mattingly still with us. And we are at Salvation Army. I'm going to get you two girls to stand a little bit closer together if you don't mind. Beth Yeager is a second in command here at Salvation Army, and Glinda Adkins has run Transitional Storage from its inception, is going to be passing the torch over to Beth. This is where things get stored right now.
Yes, so it's not huge, but it is ample. And people can put their stuff in here, and it's safe. Once you put your stuff in, it's closed up. It's on the shelf, door's locked, nobody bothers it. In the morning, you come and you tell them, I'm bed number 4. They bring your bucket out, you remove your stuff from the bucket, it's all done. Yes. And if people desire to, they are permitted to lock these. There is a place that they can run a lock through. Most people don't do that.
I think there's something worth noting in the fact that how many gallons is that bucket, would you guess?
I don't know.
10 gallons?
I don't
15
know.
gallons, 20 gallons?
I don't know.
The reason I ask that question is because when you stop to think about the fact that everybody who's here has a life that has been distilled down to an orange bucket.
Yep. And this is the size of the bucket is what is rational and reasonable for someone to carry and lift.
Absolutely.
We cannot ask our staff or guards
Right.
to carry day in, day out things that are too heavy, and because that would, yeah.
Another reason why transitional storage outside is going to be a better solution, because then you can put the bigger things out there.
Exactly.
People can keep them.
Exactly.
Cassie Simon from Washington, D.C. Kathy Blockham is watching. Welcome. How are you guys doing? Okay, we're going to go walking out again. Hey, there's my buddy. How you doing? How you doing? Was it Kevin?
Calvin.
Kelvin. I was close. Not too shabby. How are my friends this morning? Have you seen them?
Still going to be an office in here.
Sharon
where
and
people
Tommy.
come in.
They got in last night.
Yeah.
All right, well, we'll check on them before we go. Tracy Sprouse, thanks for joining us. All right, we're going to walk towards the cafeteria.
Yep.
I'm guessing.
Yep. We'll walk towards
All
the
right, I'll let you go
cafeteria.
ahead.
All right. So
I will walk right beside
this
you.
is still the shelter intake area. Our shelters are upstairs. We have a men's dorm that holds 66 beds of general population. And
That's worth mentioning before we go in. That room down there is where the white flag takes place.
White flag takes place.
That's when it's too cold to be outside, and
Or too hot.
or too hot, and everybody gets to come in.
Right now we're in the veterans area, and the veterans have a lounge and a classroom. They're pretty well set up.
Hi. Don't want to bother you too much. We just wanted to show you. Stay right here. Stay right here.
All right. So this is
In the middle of a commercial. That's good. So this is a nice lounge for folks to hang out in, which is on a day like this, which is very welcome. I like that.
Yes.
Hi. All right.
And then we'll walk down here. We can't do pictures.
Okay. We won't do any pictures.
Well, we have an open door so you can see a dorm
Good.
room.
We won't do any pictures in the cafeteria for privacy concerns, obviously. But this is what a dorm room looks like. This hasn't been turned over yet, so
No.
they're working on the cleaning process at the end of the day to start it out again. But there are the clothing chests and the closets and the mattresses on the beds, and there's a bathroom. And it's spare. It's military-like. And it gets you off the street.
But they also get computer access 24/7. They have their own smoking area outside. And,
Very helpful.
Do they still go to breakfast before everyone.
Yes, yeah, their meals are before everybody's. So, and these are used constantly.
Ironing boards.
Ironing boards.
Isn't that crazy?
Yep.
So you don't think about the fact that when you're homeless that you would be wanting to iron your clothes, but you know there's also something really important about being clean and being presentable, especially if you do want to go to a job.
Right.
And you have to have those creased pants, you know, to work in a restaurant or whatever. That's really important.
Yep. So there's plenty of space. There's more storage lockers if people have extra stuff. There's more space to sit and work. A lot of times our people who are going to school will spend time at these study carrels.
That's an excellent
Are
idea.
these lockers here just for the veterans?
Yes, just for the veterans.
This whole side is just for the veterans,
this is
right?
just veterans on that side. That's
And-
the single male veterans.
And the most important part of this is that it's accessible, because a lot of the building requires stairs.
Right.
And so for folks who, you know, have trouble with that, it's a challenge. Cafeteria's here. We're
here's
not
our
going to look in the
cafeteria.
picture, but we're not going to look in the window, but we know
Take
that.
a picture of the pier.
Yeah, we know that the folks are in there eating now. It's broken down into men and women eating separately.
Right. The veterans eat first, and then the women and families come in. And then after that, the men come in.
Okay.
So there's some. Now tonight's a special night because we're having the monthly birthday party.
Really? Whose birthday is it?
Well, we celebrate a shelter birthday once a month, and anybody who has a birthday during that month is celebrated during the birthday party.
Very
and
nice.
They get a gift, and we decorate. We have balloons, and we have cake and ice cream and music. And
Well, then I'll be back in April, okay?
okay, there you go. There you go.
No, that's very nice. It really is. That's a
It's
gentle touch.
It's a nice thing, and the clients come down and they really enjoy it and have a good time with
Yeah.
that. So
Those are the little things that that make the unbearable just
Absolutely.
the slightest bit more bearable.
yes, and it's we try to find gifts that everyone wants to have. I mean, that everyone can have that are the similar.
Yes.
And which they're sort of seasonal. This time of year right now, we're giving away cups, water cups that you can carry with you.
Sure.
So you can fill your cup up with water.
Okay, so here's a question. We always, at Transitional Storage, Glinda has always had lots of supplies, water and bagels from our friends at Payne Street Bakehouse on a regular basis, and things to hand out. What does Salvation Army need right now that people can bring?
We always have a need for small hygiene items. You have to remember, these people are carrying stuff with them everywhere.
Right.
So a large bottle of shampoo is not feasible.
Right.
So the smaller sizes of shampoo, conditioner, toothbrush and toothpaste are huge. We run out constantly just because people always want to brush their teeth.
OMG! Look who it is!
Oh my God.
Sharon, you're live on my Facebook show. This is my buddy. I'm going to give you a kiss, but you got to smile for the camera.
Oh no, don't.
Sharon, this is my friend Glinda.
I didn't.
And you remember Beth from
Yep.
yesterday. Are you getting food for you and Tommy?
Yes, I am.
Look at you. You're all clean. You got your shower. You got your room to stay in. How is everything going?
Fine, I hope.
Tell your friend Christina Grimes is watching you right now. You want to say anything to
Hi,
her?
Christine. I love you. I miss my dogs and my cats.
And they're all good.
And they're all good, I hope.
They are all good. You don't have to worry. But I'm very glad that you're here and that you and Tommy are safe.
Thank you very much, all you guys.
Well, we appreciate you and we're very
Even
grateful.
that.
She's gotten a sense of humor since she got here.
Well, she's always had a sense of humor.
She was go get your meal, and we've got some stuff in the car we're going to leave for you, okay?
Oh boy.
It's good to see you.
I love you.
I love you more. Give me a
I
kiss.
love you.
All right, go have dinner. Be good.
How about eat? Well, this is Tommy. Tommy is, don't feel like walking down here.
Not feeling great. Okay. Well, you will just keep
We
him in
tired
our
him out
prayers.
with making him fill out all that paperwork.
Yes,
didn't he?
we will
Certainly.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
We will keep him in our prayers. I promise you.
Okay.
Okay.
How you feeling?
I'm feeling good.
After you see me?
Now that I know you're here, I'm good. Everything is fine.
You tell me it'll be on camera. That's you.
Take that food, girlfriend. Take that food up to Tommy. We're taking a tour. We're taking. See, look how pretty she looks on camera.
She is pretty.
She is. She's beautiful.
How about me? You take me.
Oh. Where are we headed next, Beth?
Well, what would you like to see?
Whatever you want to show me.
The cafeteria, maybe.
We got people in the cafe.
Well, and I lost everything. Got kicked out in one place. I moved everything down to somebody else's house, and I should not have done it. And I tried to call him, but it was hard.
Yeah, it was hard. And then we got all of your animals into rescue, and we're very grateful for the folks who helped us with that. So we know they're safe. A little girl died, and she is in across the Rainbow Bridge now, and we're very sorry for that loss. But we were mostly concerned with how you and Tommy are doing. And you are set up right now in the Veterans Program at Salvation Army.
Yes, we are.
So tell us about the room that you're in.
It's nice. Got 3 beds.
Oh, I can come for a sleepover?
That's what I was
What?
thinking. Friday night.
Come on up. Come on up.
That's obviously not allowed, but that's okay.
But we can make room for you.
And you've got a kitchen, you've got a little...
I got a little microwave oven, a refrigerator, and Mike give me a
crock pot?
crock pot.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I buy a coffee pot
Good.
today because they're gonna not serve coffee in the cafeteria.
No, so you make your own coffee, and you've got linens and towels and
I
stuff
got
like that.
linens and towels yesterday, but I hope somebody be nice to me. Give me some more soap.
We've got some of that.
Everything
We've
else.
got some of that for you. And those are the things that we were just talking about. We need toothpaste and toothbrushes and deodorant and soap. Small travel sizes are really helpful. Pods for the laundry. We've got somebody who's bringing some of those maybe.
We have a system where the laundry detergent comes right into the machine.
Oh, even better.
But when we have donations of pods, yes, it's birthday
There's
day.
the happy birthday sign.
When it's when we have our veterans leave for their own house, we always make sure they have detergent packs that they take with them.
Okay, that's good to know. It's also important to know that right now, you guys could use some clothes,
Yes, ma'am.
men's and women's clothes, but Salvation Army doesn't really need clothes right now, so you're going to give Sharon and Tommy clothes that you have.
Yes.
And then in the fall, in a couple of months, we're going to start looking for coats.
Yes, we don't need them right now because we don't have the storage
Right.
facility for them.
Exactly.
But starting in October, it becomes very important to have coats, hats, and gloves.
And
Um,
scarves.
Yeah.
Scarves, yeah,
Scarves, yes.
absolutely.
And pants.
Yes.
Pants
and
are always good.
Yes.
Always put your pants on.
Yes, yes. Especially as people are out during the day, they need all of that cold weather gear.
And Marilyn McClendon just said, I think my dog eats first, has a bunch of toothpaste, etc. So we'll get
Okay,
that down
awesome.
here to help
Thank
you too.
you.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
Yes.
Go get your dinner to
I was
your
going
hubby.
to say, we've got some also coming from Fusion 502.
Awesome.
Another nonprofit here in town
Awesome.
that does excellent
It's
work with our
tricky.
community.
Got me on camera again.
I do got you on camera. Here,
also
let's do
needed,
this. We'll put us
adult
both on
diapers.
camera while they're
Is there a
talking. Here we
size
are.
for
Look how cute we are.
Any
I missed you
sizes.
too. It's been a whole day.
Probably mostly
I
larger
know.
sizes.
Yeah, I was talking to Tommy. I said,
We all put it
I
out on
wish
our
somebody
Facebook
come
page.
It's
over
just one of those
to see
things
me.
that
Well, here
you
I
just
am.
always need.
Well, I want to know. I'm Jeff.
We'll tell Jeff to come see you too. Okay.
Hey, Jeff.
I know Jeff will be watching this a little bit later. So here's your girlfriend. She wants you to come visit.
Come see me.
But don't tell her husband. Okay. Here we go. All right. Go. Have dinner. Good to see you, kiddo. Love
right.
you.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
See ya. We'll see you. No, we'll see you. You don't have to be embarrassed. It's okay. I'm going to turn that over. You just put that mic back on. It was perfect, except it's upside down. There we go. Okay.
All right.
All right.
So
Now,
we can go. We can
that
go
was a
up.
nice surprise.
It was a nice surprise. So we can go up and look at the dorm,
Yeah,
so
that'd
people
be
can
fun.
see what what it looks like to sleep.
She's got to get through the entire building with that little fob.
Yeah.
Everything is very secure, which is a good thing.
And,
Well, and if you talk to our clients, one of the things that they say is that they feel very safe here.
yeah.
Yeah, I
And,
do.
Especially our LGBT clients and transgender clients have expressed that specifically, that they feel safe.
That's amazing.
All right, tell me about the accommodations for transgender.
You are who you say you are when
Okay,
you arrive.
whoever you identify as.
However you identify.
Okay.
If there is an issue with the use of the showers, we will make accommodation. You simply have to ask. If someone else in the dorm has a problem with you being in the dorm of your choice, then we deal with them and doesn't come back on you.
That's quite amazing.
Yes.
So you put the onus of responsibility where the responsibility should be.
Yes, it's and we're very aware of and careful to make sure that we
Let's look at this real quick.
are keeping people safe.
Art class.
Yes, this is the art class.
Are these kids or adults or both?
It's probably both. We have both art class for the families, and that's part of the parenting class, actually. It's a combination
Good.
parenting and art class for the veteran families.
Good.
But we also have art classes that specifically deal with PTSD and other more intense issues that are only for the veterans.
Wonderful.
So-
Okay, good. Signage. Have you been denied a checking account? Start fresh. That's really
That's right.
good. So
Yes,
those
we
are
have a financial empowerment program with a financial coach.
good.
This is all about jobs.
Yeah,
et
that's
cetera.
fantastic. That's fantastic.
So,
You know, this is what we like to see. Let's walk down here.
yeah.
Watch your step.
All right.
We're
So
gonna
we're going to
go
go
to the
up
elevator.
up to the
Oh,
men's
we're not going to
dorm.
go to the
No,
elevator. We're going to
gonna
walk.
We're
Okay,
going to
go
go
ahead.
up to the men's
Glinda,
dorm.
heads on up there, girl.
It's my favorite part of the day.
I know, and I'm walking right next to you. Well, it was so nice to see Sharon, and she looks happy and she looks washed.
Yes.
Yes.
She was absolutely filthy after 10 days of sleeping out on her
Outside.
porch, and it was heartbreaking because her neighbor said she's always been impeccably clean, and to not be able to bathe
That's
is a
tough.
terrible
It's
thing.
just really tough.
So this is our men's dormitory, the general population dormitory. There are lockers for the night, so you can lock up your valuables while you sleep, but those lockers have to be emptied every morning. And then these are the beds.
So this was the band room in the old high school.
Yes,
you
it
told
was.
me.
It was. Before
Those were
that,
the
it was
practice
actually.
rooms.
Before that, it was actually the old gym, but they turned it into the band room. Obviously, everyone wants the bottom bunk,
Right, I can imagine.
but you know,
Not everybody can have the bottom.
not
bunk.
everyone can have the bottom bunk. Over here is our. Not sure where the lights are. Sorry about that.
It's dark up here,
Yeah.
but you know that's okay.
This is the for the
We can't see anything.
for
in
the
here. Come on
men
out.
who are younger, the 18 to 24-year-olds, but they have their own space is what's important to know, even though you
Yes.
can't see inside.
Perfect.
They have their own space that no one older than 24 is permitted to go into.
So another neighbor of Sharon's, Pam Alexander, who is a big part of the rescue that took place, says, "Thank you. It was good to see Sharon happy and clean.
Yes.
We're very, very grateful for that too. Very
Yes.
important.
So here's probably our lights.
All right,
There we
good.
go.
Hey,
That's our
there you
light.
go. Let there be light.
Yes, there's our
How many
lights.
people can sleep in here?
66 beds.
66 beds.
Yep.
And is this what'll fill up this evening?
Yes, will fill up this evening. It's a nice night. It may not be completely full.
Right.
People camp.
People camp out when it's nicer, and that's part of their prerogative. They do after they've missed a night. They have to call for the bed line to get another reservation. But that's why during the cold months nobody misses a night because
Yeah.
they don't want their bed to
No,
go away.
absolutely.
But in these nicer nights, that's not so much of a big deal.
What are the showers like? Is it like a gymnasium type, like
Yes.
a work? Okay, so
it's a basically it's a
like a
gang
school shower, right? Like an athletic team.
Right. The women have the same concept, but what they do is they have a list and they just go one by one. The men don't have as much issues. They just go get in there. I mean, it's kind of like the old gym showers. You just
Right.
go get in the shower.
Right.
And everybody is, you know, encouraged to shower. Everybody's given a towel so they can shower. And they're given, there's dispensers on the wall for body wash, and if you ask for shampoo and we have it, then we give you shampoo to use. But there's always body wash in the dispensers.
So let's walk downstairs again, because what I really want to do is talk about the fact that we have the ability to give people housing at night to sleep, day shelters to keep themselves occupied during the day. We have breakfast and lunch, I'm assuming, for the folks who are here at Salvation Army when they come in. Is that right, Beth?
Breakfast and dinner
Breakfast
is
and dinner,
community.
I'm sorry. And then the veterans
So
have
veterans
breakfast,
have-
lunch, and dinner.
Yes, they do.
Okay, so we've got 3 options there. Show
Right.
us white flag, if you
Sure.
wouldn't mind. For the folks who have never been inside a shelter, we are at Salvation Army with Beth Yeager. Glinda Adkins has come along for the ride because they're turning over storage, transitional storage, to the loving care of Salvation Army after 6 months of it being under the auspices of St. John's Center for Homeless Men. Hi, Claire Doyle. How are you? Hi, Kip Wilson. Good to see you. Appreciate you guys tuning in today. Arthur Miller, appreciate you. So this is what happens when it becomes too cold or too hot.
Yes.
This is called the white flag room.
It is, and during the day, people sit on chairs. Overnight, we have mattresses for them to sleep on. According to the fire department regulations, we can have 24 people sleeping here at night, and we can have 48 people during the day sitting on the chairs. This is also the restrooms for dinner.
Right,
So-
and I turned you guys away
Yeah.
because I don't want to show the kids that just
Right,
came running in
right.
too for privacy concerns. But there are kids with families who
come and
stay
eat
here and who come
well,
and stay.
and they come and eat dinner here, and they may be community people. They may have a house in the neighborhood, but they may have used up their SNAP benefits by this time of month, and they're going to come and have community dinner.
Okay, so it's underserved as well as homeless,
Yes.
which is an important thing
Yes.
to know. Very
Yes.
good.
Anyone who shows up at mealtime will be fed.
What's on a typical menu?
It tends to be a heavy meal because we want to give people a lot of calories to take with them, because this may be their only meal they have today.
Right.
So we'll have spaghetti. We may have lasagna another night. Anytime we have that, we would have a salad with it. It usually consists of a meat, a vegetable, and
A
some
starch.
form of starch.
Right.
Rice, potatoes, that type of thing. And then every so often, you're going to have a birthday party where
That's
you're going to
right.
get cake and ice cream.
That's a nice touch.
And that's actually a lot of fun. I enjoy staying for that and serving up the ice cream, and people get to choose their ice cream flavor and choose their topping. Oh, it's nice.
That is
It's
awesome.
a nice thing.
So I'm going to scoot you guys together, and we're going to walk back up the steps here, because I want to keep going on the last thing that you wanted to show us, and then we're going to go back outside. It's not a fun place to be. We know that. It's not fun to be homeless. You guys are doing what you can to make it bearable.
Yes, and we work very, very hard to keep it very clean.
Yes.
We try to be respectful of people's need for cleanliness,
Yes.
and to have the hygiene items that they need to keep themselves clean. We always feel badly when we run out of toothbrushes or toothpaste, that type of thing. But we try very hard to make sure that we have that kind of thing for people, because people like to brush their teeth and they like to wash their hair. So
Yeah,
we try to make
absolutely.
sure that's available to people.
Absolutely.
Now, if the community has these donated items, where would they bring them?
They would bring them right here to
Okay.
our intake office here off of Breckenridge Lane.
Okay.
And the best time to bring donated items is between 8:30 and 4,
Okay.
because we're not dealing with clients as well during that time.
Okay.
And we can process the donation. If you brought a donation right now, it would have to be put away until tomorrow morning where it can be dealt with. But if you brought it at 10 o'clock in the morning, I have people who can put it
So
where
like
it belongs.
as far as the shampoo and conditioner, like what you get in a motel, would that be the
That would be fine, but
that's-
even just smaller bottles.
trial? Okay.
The people,
Not the supersized.
exactly. We tend to think, oh, we should get the supersize because that's your best value.
But you don't leave
imagine
that.
carrying that.
Right.
Yeah.
Just always think about, would
The
I want to
weight.
carry this around?
Yeah.
Because those things are heavy.
And you don't leave some items for other people's to use. These are one-use items, and then that's done. So
Right.
yeah.
And when we do get large bottles, what we do is we put them in
Put
the
them in the
small
small
cups.
bottles. Yeah, very smart.
But it's nicer to be able to hand somebody, this is your
Right.
shampoo, and
Right.
it's, you know,
It
4 or
just
5 days
restores-
worth or whatever.
And they may
Yeah.
need to take it with them too.
Exactly.
That's
And it
the key.
restores
Exactly.
their dignity.
Yes.
you
It
know,
does restore
so.
their dignity.
So we're
you
gonna
know,
go
and
through
that's,
here.
That's something that I've always loved about Glinda is that she always has in mind, you know, the thought of what it's going to do to serve the person. And I know you
Right.
feel the same way, Beth.
Definitely.
Okay, so let's go out to the car real quick here now that most of our friends have come inside. And how are you guys doing? You good? Glad you're here. We're going to go out to the car.
I was going to say,
because-
you didn't mention, I don't know if the guys at home, that they need adult diapers,
Yes.
men's, women's, larger sizes.
Yes, that's also a big need because we're tending to get, I've been working here for 6 years. In the last 2 years, we've started to get more and more senior homeless. And so we have a need for things like adult diapers.
Boy, if that in and of itself is not heartbreaking,
That's a telling story.
Yes.
I don't know what is. So here's the good news. The kids,
Awesome. Thank
crayons. This is courtesy of your friends from Up for Women and Children,
you. Oh,
Andrea
awesome.
and
Thank you,
Amy, and
Andrea
Glinda.
Amy.
Glinda, you can carry one, and that's
Uh-huh.
toothbrush, toothpaste, and all that kind of good stuff. And also from Andrea and Amy, adult
Oh,
diapers,
yay.
which is huge. So
Yes.
this is going to be a key right here. Let me just show people. These are diapers and pull-ups, all sizes for men's and women. Very, very important that these
And
be
again,
a part of
we
people's
talked about
dignity.
preserving dignity. Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
A lot of times, people who are homeless spend a lot of time waiting.
Yes.
They have to wait for services. They have to wait for things to open. They have to wait to use the restroom. And so, if they have any sort of issues with the bathroom, to have an adult diaper can be the difference between embarrassment of
Right.
peeing yourself and
Right.
being able to maintain dignity.
And not
So-
having laundry handy constantly.
Yes,
You know, is a big
yes,
deal.
that's huge.
Hey,
So-
I thank you both so much. The Transitional Storage is moving on Friday to Salvation Army. When will they be open for business, Beth?
Monday morning.
Monday
morning
morning.
at 8.
Glinda, we want to thank you for all the extraordinary work that you've done to set it up and maintain it. You and your team have created something innovative and extraordinarily successful in the city of Louisville as one component part to battling homelessness. And you should get an award for it, but I'm just going to tell you, we love you and we appreciate you.
And
Thanks.
we're just stealing all their paperwork because
That's
it's
okay.
great.
That's okay.
It's great. Exactly
There's
how they
no-
do. Exactly how you do it is
There's
how we're
no
going to keep
need
on
to
doing it.
reinvent the wheel.
That's exactly how you've been doing it is how we're going to keep on doing it because it just makes perfect
well,
sense.
that way the clients will not
Yes.
feel any change other than
right.
the location.
That's the
so.
key.
Yes.
Thank you guys so much.
Well,
Have a
thank you.
wonderful day. And folks, Salvation Army, one of the number of shelters available in the city of Louisville and not supported much by the city of Louisville, so your contributions are always welcome too. And this is going to be the new home of Transitional Storage as well. Beth Yeager and Glinda Yates, Glinda Poole Adkins. Why did I say Glinda Yates? Glinda Dale Poole Adkins have been a big help to us today in explaining this big transition. Thank you so much. And another take it from Tara in the can. Love to Sharon and Tommy, and thanks to all who've made sure that they're safe.